Time's up.
Here it comes. Now, Mr. Spock.
Hello, welcome to Star Trek Sodium. I have some super interesting facts about Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, which is of course one of the greatest science fiction films of all time. So let's get into the facts. Now, we're all familiar with Ricardo Montalban's chilling portrayal of the foreboding Khan character, one of Montalban's finest, alongside his characters in Fantasy Island and Naked Gun. But did you realise that originally other actors auditioned for the role of Khan before they smartly decided to go for the original Khan actor? Other actors that auditioned for the role were Laurence Olivier, Jimmy Stewart, Orson Welles, Mark Hamill, James Earl Jones, G.W. Bailey from Short Circuit, and Christopher Lloyd, who didn't get the part, but he impressed Nicholas Meyer so much that he was considered for the role of the Klingon antagonist for Star Trek III. The actor who played one of Khan's men, Yorgrem, was in reality a nudist, although he was happy to wear his space costume for filming in Star Trek. He would often arrive and leave the studio with no clothes on at all, as naked as a shrimp. So it reportedly annoyed some of the other actors when it was time for a coffee break, and he would quickly throw his clothes onto the ground and go outside for a cigarette, flashing his funny bits.
Khan, you've got Genesis, but you don't have me. You are going to kill me, Khan. You're going to have to come down here.
In one of the more frightening scenes of the movie, Khan inserts SETI eels into Chekhov and Captain Tyrrell's ears to make them both obedient and insane. He does this by swirling the maggoty creatures inside the helmets, but the original script called for Khan to actually push the disturbing creatures into his victims' ears with his street fingers. Filming the scene proved hard, as the finger, the ear and the maggot would all clash in the close-up camera shot, and so plans were changed, and now we have the frightening helmet scene, a scene for us to pass down to our children and our children's children. Another plan that got changed as the film evolved was for Khan's men's uniforms. In the finished movie, they wear ropey-looking brown costumes, but on the first day of shooting, they were actually wearing a disturbing pink. So much sand and dust covered the outfits, and it hid the pink ferocity, that the producers decided that a quick change to the updated costumes was needed. The costumes that they changed to, of course, were the ropey brown ones that we have now. Costumes that, of course, make them stand out from the crowd. Have you ever heard the phrase, "I'm grandpa tired"? Well, apparently that phrase comes from here. While filming Star Trek II, the Sulu actor George Takei allegedly brought his elderly grandfather to the studio so that he could see what all the fuss was about with Star Trek, and also offered to supervise the acting for George. The trouble was, though, that he kept moaning constantly about how tired he was, and he didn't lift a finger to help George's acting at all. So the next time you hear somebody saying that they're grandpa tired, this is where it came from.
Please, don't move.
Chekhov.
It's lucky that this film features the character of Dr. McCoy at all, as when the film was being recorded, DeForest Kelley was reportedly having his third attempt at breaking the world land speed record in his modified vehicle, the Super Tiger. He would turn up at the studio hours late to film his scenes, and in fact a whole section of the movie had to be changed because of his absence. Do you remember the scene where Dr. McCoy beams on board the Reliant and starts strangling Khan's men? You might have heard about it, but you haven't seen it, as it wasn't filmed. Talking about Khan's men, rumour has it but one of them, at the back of the Reliant Bridge, is actually the future wrestler Macho Man Randy Savage. This was his on-screen debut, which of course would prove an invaluable experience for him in front of the camera. As you probably know, the first section of the film is set on SETI Alpha 3, and the section of the desert that it was selected to be filming in had been cherry-picked as the best place available for the filming. But just as production started on these scenes, disaster struck as rare fossils were discovered. Archaeologists from the University of California were brought in, and filming was completely put on ice for 2 weeks while they scoured the area as a place of special scientific interest as they dug out all of the popular fossils. Thankfully though, once the Hensing area was given the all clear, the actors returned to work and successfully made the place look exactly like an alien hellhole. Getting Ricardo Montalban to return to Star Trek was easy, as he loved Star Trek on the whole, but surprisingly, it wasn't Khan that he wanted to play. He felt that he'd already proven himself as Khan, and next wanted to return as fan-favourite character Cyrano Jones from The Trouble with Tribbles. The problem was, of course, that Cyrano Jones wasn't in the script for The Wrath of Khan, but Khan was, so Montalban had to be persuaded to breathe life into his historic character of Khan. Star Trek II introduces the soapy character of Saavik, but did you even realise that at first it was meant to be the character of Zon from Star Trek Phase 2? The problem was, of course, that the Zon character was unavailable for filming Star Trek II because he joined some nutty Christian church as a minister in Alabama, and so a new actor had to be found. At first, Clint Eastwood himself was asked to play Zon, but turned it down fast after he auditioned. He possibly said that the ears didn't really suit his tough guy reputation. Somebody like him just probably shouldn't wear these big ears, but he suggested that his acting cousin, Kirstie Alley, who quickly got the part despite her eyes looking like she was constantly about to cry, would be perfect. And she was, and everybody I'm sure thinks that Kirstie Alley made a great Vulcan. Thanks for listening to my super duper facts about Star Trek II The Wrath of Khan. Hopefully you've learned a thing or two about this magnificent movie. Please subscribe to my channel and check out my lots of facts about Star Trek from different facets of Star Trek. And if you have any facts about Star Trek II The Wrath of Khan that I might not know, please go ahead and drop them below in the comments. Super stuff. Thanks guys. Ta-ta.